a minute, taking a look at some of the latest information that we do have going on. Again, the possibility of a tornado moving through Athens, probably a little south and east of there right now. Again, sometimes these storms, they can spin up very quickly. Again, here is the latest storm track that we have ongoing with this, tracking through portions of Limestone, Madison County. Harvest area will be coming in around 6:13, into the Hazel Green area around 6:32, Keys Mill around 6:37. And again, if this holds together, could make it to the New Market area around 6:45. Again, this will pass north of downtown Huntsville. It is going to pass, it looks like, to the north of Highway 72. So you folks north of 72, out towards Highway 53 through the Harvest area, you need to be seeking shelter for, again, the possibility of a tornado moving through this area. Go ahead and head to the lowest level, the building that you're in. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And wherever you take shelter, be sure to cover up your head to protect it from any sort of flying debris. Now, again, this is radar indicated. We are not seeing any confirmation of anything touching down. Again, what we are monitoring here is some rotation that has showed up with this thunderstorm moving through Limestone County and getting ready to track into portions of Madison County. Again, the possibility for a spin-up type of tornado with this particular thunderstorm as it is moving through portions of northern Alabama. And again, conditions do remain favorable for that to happen. It does appear now, as I'm looking at some other information, that this has passed maybe just a little bit to the east of I-65. It appears we still can't see myself on the monitors, but I can see myself back in the distance here. So I'm going to try to point out exactly what we are talking about. If I'm not looking right at the camera, it's because I have to look off screen right now because my monitor's here on the side. I'm not able to see myself. But again, where we're seeing the circulation right now is a little east of Athens. Where you see the red and the green colors here, this is where we do have circulation showing up. Just a reminder what the color scheme means when we're looking at the wind velocity. Green blowing towards the radar, red is blowing away. So again, a little east of I-65 here is where we are seeing, again, some rotation, and that has prompted a tornado warning here for portions of Limestone as well as Madison County. Amber, you got something for me?
So the National Weather Service is saying that a spotter reported a funnel cloud near the intersection of Pepper Road and Mooresville Road east of Athens.
Okay, so this is spotter report, prompted the warning. There is some rotation here. I'll be honest, looking at this on radar, this is not strong rotation. So again, this comes from a combination of something that a spotter saw, in addition to the fact that there is some circulation showing up here. And again, we do see it a little east of I-65 and north of 72. Amber, let's zoom in a little closer. Let's kind of pinpoint this a little bit closer, and we'll show you what we are looking at in more detail, pulling up some roadways here. Again, this is going to be close to 251. There's Sardis Springs Road. Again, the rotation is not particularly strong. And keep in mind, as we look at the radar is not too far away from where we're looking, so we're seeing fairly low down into the storm. And the fact that it doesn't look a little bit stronger than this means that perhaps this is not a strong sort of tornado coming through, and perhaps maybe even nothing on the ground at this point in time. In fact, we can kind of confirm that, Amber. Let's take a look at the debris signature and see if anything shows up debris-wise that kind of corresponds with where we have the circulation. And nothing that really pops out in my eye right now that says there is something on the ground. So again, radar indicated apparently a spotter report of a funnel that was seen with this particular thunderstorm. So again, those two pieces of information combined prompting a tornado warning. So I do want you to seek shelter here. Again, downstream here from where this storm is located, it is a little east of Piney Chapel. And as we look here off to the north and to the east, looks like this is McKee Road. This is approximately where it's going to be tracking. Again, staying a little north here of Alabama 251 there. Again, heading out of Limestone into Madison County as we speak. Harvest area, especially northwest there along 53, you need to be seeking shelter for, again, the possibility that this thunderstorm could produce a tornado. Again, all we have information-wise about this, spotter report of a funnel. corresponding with where radar was indicating some circulation showing this. Again, this spotter reported a funnel cloud near the intersection of Pepper Road and Mooresville Road, a little east of Athens. So a tornado warning issued by the Weather Service. Again, the possibility that something may touch down here, again, just outside of the Sardis Springs area. Amber, let's kind of zoom out the view again. Want to put the latest storm track on this, just give folks an idea as to where this is going to be headed as it moves out of Limestone and now into portions of Madison County as this storm continues to work its way north and eastward. Again, if you're watching from Huntsville, we'll say from the Sparkman area, Parkway area south, you're going to be okay. If you're north of there, go ahead and seek shelter. Again, Harvest, Madison Crossroads area, perhaps out towards Newmarket is where this is going to be tracking. It is going to stay north of 72, north of 565, again impacting primarily northwest Madison County and eventually headed up towards the Meridianville, Hazel Green area. So go ahead and seek shelter there, again, for the possibility this storm may drop a tornado. As again, a funnel cloud was reported, and we do continue to see some rotation out of this thunderstorm. But again, it does not appear there's any ground truth to this. We're not seeing any sort of debris being picked up by anything. And as we do take a look at the velocity again, Amber, let's just get another close look at that. We're not seeing what I would consider to be a significant rotation, or at least nothing that is super strong out of this, but still showing up in the vicinity of Alabama 251 here, heading out of Limestone County and into northwestern parts of Madison County. We'll zoom in a little closer here. Again, this is approaching the McKee Road area. Moving away from Athens. So if you're in Athens, if you sought shelter when the warning came out, the storm has passed you and you are safe to get out of your shelter. But again, over here towards the Harvest area, I want you to go ahead and head to the lowest level of the building that you're in and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible for the possibility that this storm may produce a tornado. We've mostly gotten wind reports out of this storm as it's moved on through. That can cause some problems as well. So again, at the very least, you want to be inside away from windows just in case some trees perhaps come down as a result of this thunderstorm moving on through. Amber, let's go ahead and kind of reset the view. Just want to show folks what we are looking at. This is the only storm of concern that we have tracking through North Alabama right now. So as we kind of zoom out, we'll show you the bigger picture. Again, we've got our potential tornadic storm here moving out of Limestone County into northwest Madison County. Again, this is going to stay north of downtown Huntsville, anywhere from Harvest toward Hazel Green. I want you to head to your shelter. Again, Athens, the most dangerous part of the storm, has left your area. And as we look back out to the west into the shoals, which is where most of the active weather had been up until this point, things are relatively quiet out here. There are still some pockets of rain, some embedded thunder and lightning, nothing that is showing up that is strong or severe out of this. Again, this is the lone storm that we are watching. Same storm, though, was responsible for bringing some trees down Colbert County. Got a few reports of that earlier. So this storm certainly has some punch to it. And again, the possibility that it may produce a tornado. Again, a little rotation on radar and a spotter report of a funnel a little bit earlier. Now, in addition to the tornado warning, we also continue with a severe thunderstorm warning on this storm as well. So not only looking at where we have that little bit of rotation showing up for a possible tornado, but also the potential that this storm could still produce some wind gusts, maybe 50 upwards of 60 miles per hour. All right, Amber, let's go back in and zoom in here and get the latest details on this thunderstorm and where we're still seeing some of that circulation showing up. Again, northeast of Athens. So Athens, you are out of the threat at this point. Tornado warning has not been cut off for that part of Limestone County, but the storm has tracked away from Athens. It has tracked away from Sardis Springs, basically where you see this little notch coming on in across the storm. You saw the latest radar update there. This is where we have a little circulation showing up, again, close to Alabama 251, getting ready to head into northwestern parts of Madison County. It is going to be crossing Highway 53. Here is Harvest, the center of Harvest, like likely just a little north of there. Again, we are seeing the circulation showing up here in the vicinity of Alabama 251 here in extreme eastern parts of Limestone County. And again, this is going to be tracking on into northwestern Madison County. Not a strong rotation signature showing up, so that is some good news. But still, nonetheless, circulation, again, coupled with a spotter report of a funnel is why the tornado warning is out. And again, you need to be seeking shelter here from near Harvest to Madison Crossroads, up here towards the New Sharon area. Also want you to head to your shelter. Again, we are talking about the possibility that this storm could spin up a tornado as it moves on through, with the circulation showing up and at least a report of a funnel a little bit earlier with the storm as it tracked on through. Again, radar indicated. Still want you to go ahead and seek shelter for, again, the possibility of a tornado out of this storm. Now, if you've been watching our coverage here, when we were on before the 4 o'clock news, during the 4 and the 5, we did talk about that the threat for severe weather was not particularly high, but still some ingredients in play that could allow some of these storms to go severe and produce damaging wind and, again, possibility of a tornado. And that threat is still going to remain for the next couple of hours. So we want you to stay weather aware and know that we're going to be here continuing to watch things for you until basically we can give you the all clear and say that the threat of severe weather has come and gone. But again, what I'm seeing here on radar, not a strong signature indicating a tornado high likelihood. What we are seeing, though, broad rotation showing up here. And again, just to remind you what the colors are on the velocity: green blowing toward the radar, the reds are blowing away. So what you get a sense here is counterclockwise rotation showing up. Again, this is just a little east of Highway 251, crossing now into northwestern parts of Madison County. You can see the towns in the path. Here's Harvest. This is going to pass a little north. Madison Crossroads, though, you're kind of right in line to where this is going to be going on in. And again, back behind my shoulder, the New Sharon area also will be in the track of this. So if you're in these areas towards Hazel Green, New Market, I want you to go ahead and seek shelter, again, for the possibility that this storm could produce a tornado. Amber, let's take another look at the debris tracker, just see if there's anything that's showing up corresponding with this. And again, nothing that catches my eye that says that we have something on the ground at this point in time. So we will stay still, just radar indicated rotation and the possibility that we would see maybe a tornado touchdown out of this. All right, Amber, let's kind of reset the view again. I want to show you what we do have going on as I check the latest information from the National Weather Service. Not getting any updates from them, so that is some good news. Again, the latest was the funnel cloud that was reported near Mooresville Road and Pepper Road near Athens. So again, that is why the warning came out, the report of that funnel cloud and the rotation that we were seeing on radar. You can see the latest data coming on in here back towards the shoals. Things are looking better for you folks. So I think we can say, especially out here toward northwest Alabama, severe weather potential is starting to go down in this area. It will still remain somewhat elevated along the I-65 corridor for a little while longer. So again, this storm that we have moving out of Limestone, Madison County, still the potential that it could bring some severe weather and maybe an isolated tornado threat. Again, the tornado potential is radar indicated at this point, nothing that is confirmed on the ground. And as we take you into parts of Sand Mountain, things are relatively quiet. Now, you are going to get some storms here a little bit later into the evening, but the threat for severe weather really does diminish as you head east of Interstate 65. So this storm, perhaps as it continues to move into northern Madison County, may lose its organization, may lose its potential to produce a tornado. But these storms have been packing a little bit of a punch in some areas. This one in particular, we can actually track it all the way back into Colbert County, where it did knock down some trees, did knock down some power as well. Power reported flickering around the Leeton area. This storm then tracked through the North Cortland area through Athens. We, of course, alerted you about this storm coming into Athens on our 5 o'clock news, that it likely would bring some strong wind gusts, perhaps of 50 miles per hour. And again, here right before we came on at 6 o'clock, there was an indication of some spin developing in this storm, and that did prompt the tornado warning. All right, Amber, let's go back in as we get new information coming in on radar. Let's take a closer view of the storm. Here it is, again, moving into the Madison Crossroads area. So the heaviest part of this storm, the strongest part, is now moving into northwestern parts of Madison County. Again, this is going to pass well north of downtown Huntsville. So we're primarily talking northwest Madison County, heading towards north of Harvest, Madison Crossroads to Hazel Green. So I do want you in your shelter in these areas. Amber, let's take a look at the latest on the wind velocity. See what we have going on with that. And again, still some rotation showing up here, but what we are seeing with the rotation is what we call broad. We'd be looking to see if the reds, which are blowing away, the greens that are blowing towards, if they were right up against each other. That would indicate tight rotation. Instead, as you can see here, there's a little bit of a gap. So this means broad rotation, usually an indication that maybe not something tornadic on the ground. in the cloud deck, and again, that often corresponds with when we see these areas of rotation. So this is not unexpected that we are getting that report, but the positive news is just a lowering. No funnel was observed. So again, from what we're seeing with the radar data, what spotters are reporting, an indication that perhaps there is nothing down to the ground and perhaps nothing imminent, but I still want you to seek shelter again from this storm. Amber, let's go back and take a look at the regular reflectivity on this. We'll talk about the rainfall coming on in, very heavy rain associated with this, moving in association with this area of circulation. Let's kind of zoom out the view slightly, show you the bigger picture of this storm, where it extends and where it is headed. Again, Athens, you're into clear. You've gotten the rain, but the storm activity and the potential for severe weather has now left. In fact, the threat of a tornado and severe weather is now leaving Limestone County. So we're mostly focused here across northwest parts of Madison County. Again, Huntsville, this is not going to impact you. It's going to stay to the north, but you can see the track here again from Madison Crossroads, where it is at now, to New Sharon, towards the Bucks Mill area. Coming in around 6:39. If it holds together, Quarter Crossroads coming in around 6:49, and eventually this will be crossing the state line on into areas of southern Middle Tennessee. Again, if the warning is continued, we've got another about 12 minutes or so on the warning, and just based on what I'm seeing, and what the Weather Service is indicating is that the storm has undergone some weakening. So that is what we love to hear. But again, still the possibility that this could spin up maybe a brief tornado. Again, we've not gotten reports of that. We've not received any significant damage reports. Again, some trees reported down in Athens, don't have anything specific, don't know the location, and that could have been just from some strong wind as the tornado warning kind of came out as the storm was right on top of Athens and getting ready to leave town. But again, nonetheless, the storm, even if it doesn't produce a tornado, may produce some strong wind gusts that could be on the order of 40, 50, maybe upwards of 60 miles per hour. That's enough to bring down some trees, bring down some power lines, cause some power outages, cause some hazardous travel as well. And this storm has actually had a history of bringing some trees down back when it was moving through parts of Colbert County a little bit earlier. So what we can say, this storm has had longevity. It's not necessarily been producing severe weather along the entire track, but certainly has had impacts as it has been moving on through. All right, Amber, let's kind of clear off the information. Do want to reset the view. Always looking to see if there's anything else coming in down the line that we need to be concerned about. And I would say, just based on what I'm looking at on radar, the answer is no. So it is this one. And based on that, just seeing here the latest from the National Weather Service, it says if the storm maintains its current intensity as we're seeing it now, they are going to allow the tornado warning to expire at 6:30. They will issue a new severe thunderstorm warning to cover this storm as it moves its way off to the north and to the east. So again, the current plan is that if this storm continues to look like it does right now and does not appear to be intensifying, the tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire with this storm as it moves on through. So we're going to stay with this just for a little bit longer just to make sure that a new warning does not come out. Another report of some lowering of the clouds, possible wall cloud. Again, this was around Highway 53 in Kelly Spring, seeing that lowering of the clouds. This was just a couple minutes ago. So still seeing at least a lowering out of this. We're still seeing the circulation. Again, we're looking at the wind velocity. The radar can look into the storm and it can determine which way the wind is moving, whether the wind is blowing toward the radar or away from the radar. The greens are towards, the reds are away. So there you see just that little bit of circulation showing up just outside of the Madison Crossroads area. So there's still some broad, what we call rotation showing up here. It's not strong, it's not compact and over a very, very small area, which would be more indicative of a tornado moving through. So at least we are not seeing that. We're zooming in a little closer here. You can see the roads that we're talking about. This is Ready Section Road. This is Tony Road and Pulaski Pike. So basically the rotation that we're seeing here in between Ready Section Road and Pulaski Pike, just outside of the Madison Crossroads area. We'll kind of show you where this is headed off to the north and to the east. So this is going to be, again, tracking towards the New Sharon area, so I want you to stay in your shelter there. Just rattle off some of the roads here in the intersection at Ready Section Road, and it looks like Briar Fork Road, Grinwood Road, West Limestone Road, Bobo Section Road. I want you to be in your shelter in these areas for just a little bit longer as this storm is still showing signs of rotation. And again, the possibility, not a certainty, but the possibility that it could produce a tornado, although all indications are this storm has kind of lost its structure a little bit. And if it continues to not look any more intense than it does now, the Weather Service is going to allow that tornado warning to expire at 6:30. So we're going to stay with this for just a while longer. Another report, Harvest Road and Wall Triana, the cloud lowering, but noted they did not notice any rotation. So they noticed the lowering of the cloud deck or wall cloud, but did not really discern any sort of significant circulation. So again, that is a good sign. But we're still seeing that rotation showing up very broadly here in the New Sharon area, getting ready to head across 231 pretty close to Hazel Green. So again, if you're in Hazel Green, just go ahead, stay in your shelter for a little bit longer, and hopefully we'll give you the all clear here in just a little bit. All right, Amber, let's kind of, again, reset the view. Just want to show everyone what we're looking at. Folks that are maybe watching Huntsville and Decatur's or anything coming down the pike that you need to worry about. Right now, the answer is no. Actually, we're pretty clear here all along 565. We do have a few heavier downpours, some showers and storms showing up here out into parts of Colbert as well as Lauderdale County. Again, nothing that is intense, nothing that is severe out of any of this. Again, our strongest storm is the one now moving through northern parts of Madison County, and it is going to be tracking on into parts of Lincoln County there in southern Middle Tennessee. So, Amber, let's kind of zoom back in. Let's do another storm track on this. They did allow the severe thunderstorm warning that had been in effect for Limestone, Madison County to expire, but we are anticipating that a new severe thunderstorm warning will be issued for this storm to replace the current tornado warning if everything continues to trend downward with this storm. Again, here's the latest track heading into the Hazel Green area here within the next few minutes, into Flintville, coming up, it looks like around 6:52, the Elora, Tennessee area coming up around 6:55. Again, the possibility of this storm, even if the tornado warning is allowed to expire on schedule at 6:30, this storm has had a history of producing some strong winds that have brought down some trees, apparently brought down some trees on some power lines back in Athens. So we can assume that there's still the potential for some wind that may be 40, 50 miles per hour, perhaps perhaps a little bit higher with this storm as well. Amber, let's zoom in a little closer. Still want to continue to monitor the rotation showing up in this thunderstorm. Again, it is going to be approaching the hazel green area, and you can kind of even tell by the shape here. Sometimes you can just look at the rain pattern and discern if there's any sort of rotation. So it still kind of looks like that. And again, we've got it here just very loosely showing rotation here, again, towards the New Sharon area. And this is going to be working its way on towards, again, Hazel Green. So if you're in Hazel Green, I want you in your shelter, tracking towards Fisk, maybe making it towards the New Market area, although more than likely it'll jog a little north of there, heading into parts of Lincoln County there in southern Middle Tennessee. Here's the latest scan update. Again, the circulation does not appear to be particularly strong, but still there a bit. Now around Elkwood Section Road and continuing to track its way off to the north and to the east with, again, the possibility that the tornado could develop out of this, although I would say just based on the data, based on the history of this storm, that the likelihood would be low, but still a chance. So it does look like now the tornado warning has been extended now until 7. So the latest update, again, storm capable of producing a tornado near the Hazel Green area, moving northeast at 40. The warning does indicate that it's radar indicated rotation, that we have seen some funnel clouds and some wall clouds in association with this thunderstorm. So the warning now has been extended, and we'll probably not see the threat necessarily end until this rotation weakens even more. Again, it is fairly broad rotation. It's not strong rotation, but again, rotation nonetheless showing up here again around Elkwood Section Road. It is passing very close.
Also, some trees reported down on power lines on Elkton Road. You should avoid those areas if possible. You just saw some video actually just sent in from some of our viewers. We've received some other video from Mr. Kevin Putman that shows some really dark, scary looking clouds as well. So obviously the storm isn't too dangerous right now from what we're seeing, but you definitely want to be careful and make sure you're watching and listening to what Jeff is saying about what's happening as these storms continue to roll through and develop this evening.
We do have several reporters stretched out across North Alabama for you this evening. Coverage you can count on, as this is a 31 alert day. WAAY 31 reporter Maddie McCaffrey right now joins us from Limestone County with what she's experienced. Maddie?
Dan and Nicole, I'm here in Morgan County outside the Morgan County Courthouse, and in the basement of the courthouse is where EMA officials right now are just tracking this threat for severe weather as it's moving across North Alabama. Now, there's currently a lot of shelters here that's open in Morgan County, including the Morgan County Courthouse basement, Decatur City Hall basement, and plenty other shelters. I'll list a few for y'all. Priceville, Oak Ridge, Neal, Trinity, Eva, Massey, Danville, Brindley Mountain, and Flint. These are all public storm shelters that are open to you right now. And the best thing you can do is just be prepared. EMA officials say make sure that you're in a stable environment. If you're in a mobile home, make sure you have access to a tornado shelter. The wind, it's picking up a little bit here right now in Morgan County. It's not raining. It was drizzling just a few minutes ago, but the wind, it's not terribly strong right now, but we're just keeping an eye on conditions for you here in Morgan County. For now, I'm reporting live with coverage you can count on. Maddie McCaffrey, WAAY 31 News.
All right, Maddie, thanks. We want to get back over to our Chief Meteorologist, Jeff Castle, right now for another update. Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Dan and Nicole, and thank you, Maddie, for that report there out of the Morgan County area. Again, this is kind of the wide view, what we're looking at. We are seeing a round of thunderstorms coming through. We've not had a lot of reports of damage out of these. We've had just a couple warnings, severe thunderstorm warning, but of course the tornado warning, which is ongoing right now. Again, for the storm moving through northern parts of Madison County, it is heading into Lincoln County here in southern Middle Tennessee. The warning continues because we continue to see some rotation in this thunderstorm, and as we showed you with some video earlier from a viewer in the Athens area, there have been reports and video of lowerings of the cloud in association with this thunderstorm, which is often a precursor to a tornado touching down. We've not gotten any reports of any official touchdowns. We have gotten some reports out of Athens of, again, some trees down there in Limestone County in the vicinity of Elm Street and Elton Road in Athens. Again, trees on some power lines there. So that is what we have been getting reports of. This is not, as we've been looking at this storm, a significant tornado threat in that a strong tornado setup. So that is some good news, but keep in mind, even a weak tornado can do damage. If it knocks a tree down on your house, that's not a good thing. So we do want you to take these storms seriously as they come on through. Still the potential for even some strong wind gusts out of these storms as well. Again, this is the wider picture. We've got our strongest thunderstorm moving out of Madison into Lincoln County here in southern Middle Tennessee, and then rain and storms do extend back towards the shoals. None of this activity, though, from Athens back towards Florence or Muscle Shoals are producing severe weather. Now, there is another line. You do see it back here off to the north and to the west. And again, I apologize that I'm looking off camera because I don't have monitors on either side of me, so I'm having to look off into the distance. But we are seeing this additional line of storms here, western Tennessee down into northern parts of Mississippi, that could perhaps bring some additional strong storm activity. I don't think this is going to have a widespread severe impact, but there is going to be another round of storms that will come in for you folks in the shoals before the evening is out. This is associated with our latest cold front, which will bring an end to any stormy weather and severe weather potential later this evening and on into tonight. But again, our most immediate threat is the storm here north of Huntsville, right along the state line, heading from northern Madison County into southern sections of Lincoln County there in southern Middle Tennessee. So Amber, let's go ahead and zoom on in. This is the latest on this storm. I will say it's not looking quite as ominous as it did. And that is always a good sign. We are still monitoring the potential for some rotation. And I would say at this point, just based on what I'm seeing in the velocity signature here, the rotation area is looking even less significant than it did a short time ago. But a tornado warning does continue for areas now into Lincoln County and southern Middle Tennessee until 7 o'clock this evening. So still, to be on the safe side, even if there's not a tornado that's produced by this storm, potentially it may still have some winds, 40, 50 miles per hour. So if you are here from Vantown to Flintville, still want you to go ahead and seek shelter, again, for the possibility, at the very least, of some wind damage potential out of this storm as it moves on in. If you're here in Hazel Green, if you had sought shelter, we can go ahead and give you the all clear. The most dangerous part of this storm is now out of the Hazel Green area. And again, areas back to the northwest, Harvest to Athens, which were under the tornado warning earlier. Again, the threat, at least from this storm, has come and gone. So we're now primarily looking at southern sections of Lincoln County here in southern Middle Tennessee, Vantown to Flintville, maybe over here towards Elora. Go ahead and seek shelter, again, for the possibility that this storm may produce either a brief tornado or some strong wind gusts as it is moving on through. Amber, let's actually kind of show the warning area again, putting up the latest details on that so you can see who's included in the warning. Again, the most dangerous part of the storm has left the Hazel Green area. It's now headed a little east of 231 there, but tracking towards Vantown and Flintville. So this is where I want you to still be headed to your shelter as the storm moves through. Coming into Flintville around 6:59. If this makes it into Franklin County, it'd be going into the Huntland area around 7:11. So you do need to keep an eye on that. Huntland, you're actually just kind of right on the edge of where that tornado warning is drawn, but this storm tracking in that general direction. So we'll say Lincoln to Elora, Flintville, Smithland to Huntland. Go ahead and be seeking shelter again for the possibility of maybe a brief tornado or some winds that may approach 50 to 60 miles per hour with this storm, as it does have a history of producing a little bit of damage along its path, starting back in the shoals in Colbert County, where there were some reports of trees down, in the Athens area as well. So we can only assume that this storm may, again, produce a little more damage along this path. So I want you to go ahead, lowest level of the building that you're in, as many walls between you and the outside as possible for, again, the possibility of either a brief spin-up type of tornado that would be on the lower end of the scale, as we're not seeing real strong rotation in the storm now, or maybe some winds that could be upwards of 50 to 60 miles per hour. This is the only warning that we have ongoing right now, but the potential for severe weather will remain a little while longer. Amber, let's, if we can, pull up the tornado watch and just show folks again who's included in that through 9 o'clock this evening. Again, this is the latest on the watch. Madison, Morgan County, Limestone, Lawrence County, Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin County, and the counties that make up southern Middle Tennessee, including Lincoln as well as Franklin County. Tornado watch does go until 9 o'clock this evening. Will we see any severe weather beyond that? I think the chance is pretty low. So at this point, I don't expect that there will be additional tornado watches that come out, but we are going to have to watch that final line of storms back to our northwest just to see how it holds together as it moves in first to northwest Alabama here in the next couple of hours, and then what it does a little bit later on. Latest information, which we would have showed you on our 6 o'clock news, did kind of show that band of storms kind of fizzling out as it moved into North Alabama. So hopefully that will continue to be something that we see trending in the data. And once we get past this tornado watch until 9 o'clock this evening, we'll be able to kind of shut down the severe weather potential and the threat around here. I don't expect this is something that is going to continue into the overnight hours and keep some of you up late tonight watching storms, as that threat is going to diminish with time through the evening hours. Again, here's the wider view. This is our tornado warning. Goes until 7 o'clock this evening. The storm, the most dangerous part of it, where we're seeing the rotation, it is moving now out of Madison County. So we're primarily now focused on Lincoln County and southern Middle Tennessee, as well as Franklin County. Again, the possibility for a tornado or some wind gusts that may approach 50 to 60 miles per hour. Maybe some hail, though we've really not gotten any reports of hail out of any of these storms. We've really not seen indications of large hail. So we're primarily looking at a wind and perhaps an isolated tornado threat. You can see out here in northwest Alabama, the precip has really kind of broken up. There are a few more showers developing here close to Haleyville. None of those are of any concern at the moment. Again, rain covering up areas from near Florence, eastward towards Rogersville, Elgin, heading towards Athens. But again, just rainfall at this point in time, with our strongest storm showing up here across portions of southern Lincoln County there in Middle Tennessee. Back here across parts of northeastern Alabama, there is some rain along the I-59 corridor, Gadsden to Fort Payne. Again, that is it for you. I will say what we're going to be watching for you folks in Sand Mountain heading into the evening hours was some of the data was suggesting a flare-up in thunderstorm activity early this evening down into central Alabama, maybe in the immediate Birmingham area, and then those storms would have a tendency to track northeastward into northeastern Alabama. So you may get your round coming in within the next couple of hours before the threat winds down for everyone as we work our way on into this evening and tonight. But again, our tornado-warned storm here moving now into southern parts of Lincoln County there in southern Middle Tennessee. Amber, let's go ahead and zoom back in. Just want to take a look at the latest data on the storm. We're going to take a look at where it is right now and where it is headed. Again, tracking towards Flintville. So I want you in your shelter if you are in the Flintville area as the storm is headed in your direction. Amber, let's take a look. Latest on the wind velocity. Well, we'll track it out for you first. Flintville around 656. If it makes it to Smithland, that'll be towards the top of the hour around 7:03. Into the Belvedere, Tennessee area around 7:19. All right, Amber, let's take a look, excuse me, at the latest on the wind velocity in the storm. And I'm just not seeing anything that is super alarming at this point in time with this particular thunderstorm. Perhaps very broad rotation showing up just to the southwest of Flintville. Again, just to get your bearings on what the colors mean when we look at the velocity, red is blowing away, green is blowing towards. You get this sense of counterclockwise rotation in between Hazel Green and Flintville. But again, the rotation is broad. It is occurring over a large area. It is not concentrated in a small spot. Brighter colors here outside of Hazel Green and the green here. You notice how the green gets a little bit brighter. That is an indication of some stronger winds. So even if there's not a tornado threat, and I would say at this point, just based on what I'm seeing on the velocity, I don't think there's an immediate threat for a tornado, but still we could have some strong winds, 40, 50, maybe upwards of 60 miles per hour. That is also tracking towards the Flintville area, so that could certainly do some damage as well as it moves on in. Amber, just a quick check here, just for peace of mind. Let's take a look at the debris tracker. Just to see if there's anything showing up here coincident where that broad rotation is, and I'm not seeing anything that jumps out here at me that says that we have anything concerning in terms of tornado on the ground at this point in time. Let's see, tornado warning does continue until 7 o'clock this evening. Just a report on east side of Athens, a potential tornado damage. Now again, we did get a report of some trees on power lines there. Weather Service is reporting now potential tornado damage the east side of Athens. That would have been close to the time that the tornado warning was issued. But the warning does remain in effect. It has been trimmed slightly, but now focused on counties in Tennessee until 7 o'clock this evening. So again, Madison County now out of the threat for seeing a possible tornado. And even here in southern Middle Tennessee, the wind velocity is not necessarily something that is super alarming at this point in time for an immediate tornado threat. And the storm itself perhaps even weakening as it pushes towards Flintville, but the warning will continue up until the top of the hour. We'll have to wait and see if it's extended. I would say just right now what I'm seeing on radar, and provided that we don't get any additional reports of funnel clouds out of this, it would surprise me if the warning is extended beyond 7 o'clock this evening. There's still some rotation showing up in this storm, very broad. It appears to be weakening, in fact, from what it was earlier, but still, where you see the brighter green color, that could be some strong wind. That could be 50, 60 mile per hour winds. So still, you want to seek shelter, middle of the building that you're in. Don't want to be in a room that has any sort of windows. Potentially still could have maybe some trees that are brought down, and some power outages as well. So again, if you're around Flintville, I do want you to seek shelter close to Huntland. It's going to get close there. So Flintville to Huntland, again, just to be on the safe side, go ahead and seek shelter, again, for the possibility that we'll either get some wind, maybe a spin-up type of tornado, although again, at this point, unless things change dramatically, the tornado threat appears to be low at the moment, certainly lower than it was when the warning was initially issued with this storm when it was back into Limestone County. All right, Amber, let's kind of put the regular radar view back up, just kind of reset the view here, what we've got going on, and this is really the only thing of any concern. Certainly, you look at the radar here with our triple Doppler, and what jumps out, the red colors here in southern Middle Tennessee. So that's the strongest storm here on WAAY 31 triple Doppler. There are a couple other heavier showers back here towards Haleyville, the Double Springs area. These would be tracking towards Moulton. Nothing severe out of that. Rain does continue north and northwest side of Athens back into eastern Lauderdale County. Again, nothing of any concern out of that. And then back here to the north and to the west, this is our cold front, which is going to bring an end to storms later this evening. There is, you see the yellow box here back towards Corinth, Mississippi. Severe thunderstorm warning associated with that. Does not include any of Lauderdale County. And in fact, as we continue to monitor this storm, Amber, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the line here. Probably need to switch radars. Okay, all right, so we're going to continue to stay on with this just a little bit longer. These are storms coming out of northeast Mississippi. We're going to keep an eye on these. Nothing that looks particularly ominous in terms of a tornado threat. This is going to be more of a loosely organized line of storms. But again, some of these, another round, will be coming into parts of Lauderdale County and maybe into Colbert County as well, although the information that I was looking at before we came on air suggesting that this line probably is going to weaken as it moves into North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. So just let me know, are we going to Dan and Nikel now to wrap up, or are we waiting towards a little closer to the top of the hour? I got my producer back in the booth has been, yeah, are we going to Dan and Nikel now or wait? Okay, so, okay, yeah, so we'll check in again with Dan and Nikel in just a few minutes. Again, monitoring this line of storms. You saw the latest update there, severe thunderstorm warning for the Corinth, Mississippi area. We'll have to wait and see if that's extended into Lauderdale County. Right now, it is not, but we will be monitoring that as well. All right, Amber, let's see here. Let's show the bigger picture again. Let's go back into our storm here. We'll need to switch radars to get the closest view here on triple Dopplers to where this storm is headed, what it is looking like right now. We'll zoom in a little closer on it. Again, tornado warning continues for another 7.5 minutes. The area of rotation with this storm showing up near Flintville, so you still need to be in your shelter there. Amber, let's take a look at the latest on the wind velocity. Again, what I'm seeing here is nothing that I'm super concerned about. It is broad rotation showing up here outside of Flintville with this storm. It is not concentrated in a small area, but the potential for maybe some strong wind coming in with this as well. So I don't believe we have an immediate tornado threat in Flintville, but I still want you to seek shelter from this storm as it is tracking on through. We'll be able to give you the all clear probably here in about 5 minutes, as this will be through the Flintville area at that point in this southeastern corner of Lincoln County. Again, Fayetteville, this is not headed your direction. It is southeast of town, and it is expected to stay southeast of town. You're just going to have some rain and some rumbles of thunder coming through. Maybe a little gusty wind, 30 to 40 miles per hour. Certainly wouldn't rule that out in some areas where we have this larger area of rain coming on through. But again, our strongest thunderstorm, and the one that has prompted the tornado warning, now moving into Flintville in Lincoln County there in southern Middle Tennessee. So go ahead and stay in your shelter for just a little bit longer. And again, if you're over here towards Huntland, just to be on the safe side as this moves in until the storm passes, go ahead and seek shelter as well for, again, the possibility at the very least of some strong wind gusts with this thunderstorm. But again, I will say as we check out the latest information here, I am Honestly, I'm not real concerned that we have an immediate tornado threat with this storm, but there is still some broad rotation showing up in association with it. So just to err on the side of caution, still want you in your shelter for just a little bit longer, and we'll wait and see if the warning is extended beyond 7 o'clock this evening. Although as this storm continues to track out of Lincoln County, it will be moving out of our coverage area, even if the warning is extended a little bit longer. But right now, indications are that that may not be the case, that the warning may not be extended. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back over to the news desk, do another check-in with Dan and Nikel about damage reports that are coming on in.
Yeah, Jeff, we really appreciate your assurances as we move through this event, this possible tornado that really the first warning came in over an hour ago here in North Alabama. So again, thank you for all of that. We do have some viewer videos and pictures. They've been helping us tell the story.
Quite a few, actually. The first one we want to show you is out of Harvest here. Take a look at this storm cloud here over these homes here in the Harvest area. You can see folks are sending lots of videos and we're going to get to them in just a moment here, but this is the first one we want to show you. You can see the clouds hovering over those homes. They're pretty low there. That must have been pretty frightening for them to see.
Yeah, and then this lady who sent this in, we appreciate this, Amanda Curtin, she sent this video from the same perspective, and she's saying you could see these clouds lowering, and we've heard Jeff talk about that as an indication of perhaps some really broad rotation. We're not sure if anything touched down at this point. It's going to be a little while before we get any confirmation of that, or whether this was just straight line winds of some kind of thunderstorm winds, but we have had reports of some minor damage, perhaps some trees down, and we know some trees landed on some power lines too.
All right, we have some other photos we want to show you out of the Athens area as well. Take a look at this photo. Do we know who this photo is from? Okay, we're not sure who sent us this photo. One of the viewers out there in the Athens area sent us this photo here, and you can see some dark clouds hovering over that field there off in the distance there in Athens as well. We have some more video out of Limestone County as well we want to show you right now. This is from Kevin Putnam. He shared this with us a little while ago. Out there you can see this is on Pepper Road in Limestone County. You can hear the sirens.
Yeah, you can hear those tornado sirens there in the background. This is perhaps some of the most dramatic video we've seen so far today. Jeff, you were talking earlier that what does this look like to you?
Well, it's what we would call a lowering of the clouds.
Okay.
You know, and that is often a precursor, especially when that lowering of the cloud deck corresponds with where we're seeing rotation on radar. And that appears to be how things kind of came together. Reports of funnel clouds in the vicinity of where the radar was indicating rotation. And again, these lowering of the clouds, often precursors to tornadoes. And we can't really tell here if there's something on the ground. And I will say, just looking at the video, it's nothing that is violently rotating. I mean, you can kind of tell if there is rotation, it is very not particularly strong. I guess it's just the best way to put it. And it's certainly good news. And, you know, if you're going to have a tornado warning, and if you're going to have the possibility of a tornado, you don't want a strong one. If you got to get one, you want it to be on the weekend, and that certainly appears to be the case with this particular storm, just based on this video. But again, even weak tornadoes, they can do damage. They can be dangerous. They can bring a tree down. Tree falls into your house. If you're in the room where the tree has fallen into, not a good thing. And even these weaker tornadoes can do that, and they can be significant. So that's why you always got to take these warnings seriously. All it takes is one storm to have an impact on you. And with that in mind, I think we do want to...
Real quick.
Okay, yeah.
I wanted to mention real quick the power outages right now. There's not very many, honestly, that we haven't seen too many. Madison County, Huntsville Utilities reporting about 100 people without power. This is down in extremely southern Madison County, just south of Hobbs Island Road and to the west of US 431. But that's pretty much it right now. This is great video here.
This is from our photojournalist, Sean Bracey. He's out in Colbert County right now. You can see some of the damage that's happened already out there. You can see some first responders and EMA workers out there already assessing the situation here. We can see lots of looks like debris on the ground there. It looks like maybe some parts of someone's roof there also on the ground, or some type of structure. You can see it looks like a tree has been uprooted there. as well here.
Yeah, it
yes,
looks
that's
like-
a huge
yeah,
tree.
that's a
It's
large
fallen
tree. That's
down.
the root ball right there
In
that
just a
we're
moment, we'll
looking
see
at.
if it's actually fallen on. It looks like it. Okay, so it's on the ground, and as far as we can see, not really on the house, but you do see some of the branches on top of the roof of that home there just a little bit. Hopefully those folks out there are okay. So far, we haven't received any reports of any injuries from these storms just yet this evening, and that's a good thing. We hope that will continue through the evening.
Even with even with a non-tornadic thunderstorm, you still get these strong winds, 50, 60 miles an hour, that, as you see right there, can take down even large trees.
Right, right. Right now we want to go to our weekend anchor, Rob Sneed. He's out in the storm tracker this evening following these storms. Rob, you were in Killen earlier when we talked. Tell us where you are right now, what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Nikhil, right now we're in Colbert County in Leeton, to be specific, near County Line Road 48, where we're trying to get to where Sean is right now. You did mention some down just off of County Line 48, where we actually saw a down power line. So electrical crews they were out there trying to fix that and get that together. I know authorities out here kind of redirected us out here, and so we're just kind of out here right now on the road trying to get to where those down trees are. We do know right now that the roads are pretty clear. You can see the rain has pretty much moved out of this area. Not anything major in terms of any floodings on the roads or anything like that. Not many cars on the roads either. Many of those viewers watching took heed to our warnings and decided to stay indoors, as they should, because again, this type of weather can be a very dangerous situation for folks out here. A few cars here and there, but not many. Of course, we're going to stay out here and try to bring you guys the latest information as we get it. But for now, I'm reporting live in Colbert County with coverage you can count on. Rob Sneed, WAAY 31 News.
All right, Rob, thank you for that report. Please stay safe while you're out there.
Yeah, and Rob's going to be with us, as well as other reporters here in the North Alabama area. We're going to be covering this storm system throughout the evening, and we'll have a full report coming up on WAAY 31 News at 10.
We'll see you then. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night.